and well being. One time, one of the boys said that Swamiji's smile was so viral that it made him think of a bull and aranels. Swamiji was taking cold showers, going on early morning walks around the Lower East Side, playing Mridanga, eating well. Even if his disciples wanted to show him down, what could they do? Some of his disciples had actually tried to prevent him from attending the controversial Cosmic Love in at the East Village Theatre, but not because of his health. They had wanted to protect his US residency case. Srila Prabhupada had been invited to attend the Love-In, a fundraising show for Louis Abolafia, the Love and Peace presidential candidate. Allen Ginsberg, Timothy Leary, and others were attending, along with a full line of rock bands. But when Prabhupada's lawyer heard that he was going, he said it might jeopardize the visa case. So the boys took up the lawyer's opinion and opposed Prabhupada's plan. Prabhupada agreed that it might be best if he didn't go. But on the day of the cosmic loving, he changed his mind and decided to go anyway. I came to this country to preach Krishna consciousness. He declared now it was time to speak against these LSD leaders who claimed to be spiritualists. He had been saying that although he wanted to go, he wouldn't go if his disciples forbade him. But in the end, he simply said he was going, and that was that. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janarandana Yashodanandana Braja Janarandana Yashodanandana Rajajanarandana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha, Giridhari Radha, Giridhari Giridhari. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladev, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Gauranga, 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 Jaya Gauranga, Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya, Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya, Gurudev. जय जय श्री श्री राधा गिधारी भगवान की जय जगन्नाथ बल्लेश्वर माय की जय गॉड निताय की जय निताय गो प्रेमानंद हरि बोल all glories to Samedi Devotees Hare Krishna all glories to Samedi Devotees Hare Krishna all glories to Samedi Devotees Hare Krishna all glories to the Lotus Feet of Shri Gaur and Shri Gauranga all glories to Prabhupada all glories to Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayadudhiraye Nastaprai Subhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Hare Krishna. We're reading from Canto 4, Chapter 30, Text 46. Bhasmashat kriyamanam stan druman vikshya pitama agata samayam asha putran barhishmato naya bhasmasat kriyamanam stan druman vikshya pitama agata samayam asa putran barhishmato naya भस्मसत् क्रियमाणानां स्तन् द्रुमान् वीक्ष्य पितामहः अगाधः समयम् आश पुत्रान् बर्हिष्मतो नयः. I request if anybody would like to read from Prabhuji's.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanvat Pranam.
Bhasmavat kriyamanastam dhruman viksha pitamaha agata samayam asha putram varishmato nyayaya. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I am also trying.
Yes, please Prabhu.
Bhasmashat kriyamananam stan druman bhiksha pitamaha agatah samayam asha putran borhishmato noyoi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Mataji, if you would like to
Hare
read.
Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mata Namaste.
भस्मसात् क्रियमाणं स्तान् ध्रुमान् वीक्षया पितामहः आगता संयामाश पुत्रान् बहिष्मतो नये. Thank you, Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
प्रभु भस्मसात् क्रियमाणं स्तान् द्रुमान् वीक्ष पितामह आगतः शमयामास पुत्रान् बोर्हिस्मतो
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mata. Synonyms: Basmasha, into ashes. Priyamanan, being made. Done, all of them. Druman, the trees. Vikshya, seeing. Pitamaha, Lord Brahma. Agataha, came there. Samayam, Asa, pacified. Uttaran, the sons. Barishmataha, of King Barishman. Naya, 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 by logic. Translation, purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. After seeing that all the trees on the surface of the earth were being turned to ashes, Lord Brahma immediately came to the sons of King Barishman and pacified them with words of logic. Purport. Whenever there is some uncommon occurrence on any planet, Lord Brahma, being in charge of the whole universe, immediately comes to control the situation. Lord Brahma also came when Hiranyakashipu underwent severe penances and austerities and made the whole universe tremble. A responsible man in any establishment is always alert to keep peace and harmony within the establishment. Similarly, Lord Brahma is also allowed to keep peace and harmony within this universe. He consequently pacified the sons of King Parishman with good logic. ॐ अज्ञानातिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपादकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादां सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखावितां हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमस्ते तप्त कंचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे राम राम हरे हरे. The translation one more time. After seeing that all the trees on the surface of the earth were being turned to ashes, Lord Brahma immediately came to the sons of King Parishman and pacified them with words of so. As just a quick recap, as we have been following the pastimes of the Pachetas and how they request for benediction, which is uh, this specific section. Um, and as part of that, they get the instruction also from Lord Vishnu himself. And after seeing Lord, they were very happy. They were very peaceful. But when the Lord leaves, then the Pachetas were in separation. And yesterday, as we had that how Pachetas then emerged from the sea, and they saw the trees grown tall to obstruct the path of to heaven. And this is where this is when they became angry, and they start to emit fire from their mouths to burn these trees. And following that is the text today where uh, Lord Brahma is here to pacify the Pachetas. Now, after Lord Vishnu giving the Prachetas the pursuit of Krishna consciousness, them becoming angry, um, in separation, as we can see. And because, as the reason mentioned, that they were not able, when they came out, they were not able to see the pathway to Lord's abode. So the anger that they were reflecting was as a block in their path to Lord's abode, and not for their own selfish purpose. And they say that the trees were so tall that the entire world, the entire planet Earth, was covered with big, long trees. But one may say that, oh, Prachetas were burning the trees, which is today's norm, as in people are doing it today. But the Prachetas were not doing it for their own selfish purpose. Today's time, people or industries, organization, they cut trees for their own self-purpose, to build houses, to make money, to make benefit or wealth out of it. So it is not the same that the Prachetas were doing at that time. Today's time, it's more with the mindset of exploiting the resource that Mother Nature is giving us. But seeing that anger or that furious activity that was happening, Lord Brahma was reached out by demigods to say, with this, if this continues, the whole planet will be burned down. We can see that whenever such big calamity or danger comes into play, then the leaders are always communicated or reached out to. And in the past, demigods knew the leader, at least for the material world, was Brahma, who created the entire, who's the second creator of the entire universe, guided by Vishnu. And leaders intervene to resolve this issue. Now, current leaders, we have current leaders who, so Brahma intervened with a different mood, with a different mindset, with a different mood, which was to serve the demigods, the living entities, the planet, the earth, uh, in danger, in risk of being destroyed. Whereas today's leaders, if you see, when they intervene, they don't intervene for the sake of others, but for their own selfish agendas. I was listening in a lecture that where Prabhupada says that so-called United Nation that has been running for 30 plus years, they were established with the purpose of maintaining peace and prosperity. But till now, none of those has been achieved. Instead of it, it has become a diplomatic organization who is only taking sides of those nations or those countries that are contributing wealth or power to maintain that stature of United Nations. And because of this, there's no progress. It's more of a downgrade, not an upgrade. But here we can see that the demigods went to Lord Brahma. Now, demigods, they do have the power to fix things with really easy, but they knew that they should reach their leader, in this case Lord Brahma, to resolve this issue rather than them taking action. This shows the level of respect and knowing who is your leader. So demigods were very well aware of it. It's also said that the demigods at that period of time, they were able to come down to earth also. They were coming down to earth because it was peaceful. But nowadays, we don't see that. Now, Prachetas did perform the sacrifice. And after having darshan of Lord Vishnu, they were expecting, or they were given the benediction. But still, because of such block on their path to Lord's board, they took this action. And in this place, we can see that Lord Brahma, not just only in this place, as in the purport Prabhupada explains, that Lord Brahma is the best person when such calamity happens to be reached out first, and then for resolution also. As Prabhupada mentioned that how Lord Brahma came when Hiranyakashipu underwent severe penances and austerities. It is said in Bhagavatam that how Hiranyakashipu's level of austerity was so high. His severe penances was so strong that the entire universe was trembling. It not just only this planet, but the entire universe, all the lokas, Swarga lokas, all the demigods were being impacted by the level of his austerity and trembling, as in it was so strongly shaking their existence within this material world. And because of that fear, they went to Lord Brahma requesting, please. Lord Brahma didn't came on his own intent, oh, let's go and stop him because I'm in risk. No. As a responsible person, when he was reached out, he took the responsibility to go and resolve the issue in hand. And the way Lord Brahma approached Hiranyakashipu was so logical because Hiranyakashipu was ready. He was ready with the right level, the right questions and the benediction in mind that he wanted to achieve. I mean, when he asked Lord Brahma that, give me the immortality. But Lord Brahma himself said, even I am not immortal. Then how can I give you such benediction? So then he asked different ways of that he believed to become immortal. Like so that give me the benediction of that I don't get killed by animals or human being, or even I don't die at daytime or nighttime, not on the earth. He asked numerous ways. He tried to fulfill his purpose, but we can see that his logic failed in certain areas, and Lord Brahma just gave him the benediction of Tathastu by saying Tathastu. But at the end, we know what happened. This was not the first time that Lord Brahma was reached out. Again, when Indra because of a curse, ended up becoming a hog. And all the uh, all the denizens in Swargaloka were looking for their king. They went to Lord Brahma and saying, please, please, where's Indra? We need him. Because without their king, they were not able to maintain the roles and responsibility of a king, which was Indra's role. And Lord Brahma agreed and went. And when he looked, he found Indra in his nice uh, home, which is of a hog, where he was enjoying eating what he believed is food, that the hog believes is food, and he was happy with his wife and kids. Now, as we know that there are multiple ways of uh, logically explaining, and not multiple, there are 4 ways basically. And in Shastra, they say that those 4 ways are Sama, Veda, Dana, and Danda. Where Sama is pacifying, Veda is diplomacy, Dana is charity, and Danda is punishment. In case of Hiranyakashipu, Lord Brahma showed the best way of um, implementing or practicing diplomacy. Whereas in situation of Indra, who was not listening, who just didn't realize where he was, it was more of a danda for Indra. And upon realizing, then upon coming back to his senses, Indra went back to perform his uh, kingly duty of Swargaloka, being the king of Swargaloka. Another pastime of Lord Brahma, where he was tasked to approach the Priyavratas, the king Priyavata, when Swambhuva Manu requested Brahma to resolve the issue where um, Priyavata was not ready, was living his life of brahmachari, and to convince him to get married. Lord Brahma came with all the denizens to request Priyavata. And it is said in the purports that Lord Brahma initially starts with saying that do not be envious of Lord, Supreme Lord Vishnu. He starts with that because he's trying to make a point that at the end, everything that all of the different personalities, they believe that that is their plan, or they were doing. It was actually Lord's plan. Lord is the supreme controller. Nobody else has control of their life or of their activities that they believe they have. So by saying this, in a way, Lord Brahma was saying that do not be envious of me, or don't get angry at me, Brahma, because he's only a servant of the Supreme Lord. And with the level of logic that Lord Brahma explained, Priyavata was so was so nice that he he got convinced, and the result we all know. So this goes to show that how the four ways of making someone understand what is Lord's message, Kama, Bheda, Dana, and Danda, if utilized by a person or by an entity whose purpose is to serve the higher authority and not for his own sense gratification, then with good logic, then the harmony can be established, the peace can be established in this universe. So he used the same logic to explain the Pachetas. And out of these four ways, which one do we think, or do you think that, as explained in Bhagavatam, that was used to explain the Pachetas? It was Dana, as it will come in the next few texts, that how Pachetas gets the gift of Dana, gift of from the deities of trees, and later that gift is actually the wife, and they move on to maintain that peace and tranquility. So we can see that within all of this, Lord Brahma was doing it to maintain peace and prosperity, but not for himself, but for he had a higher purpose, which is he was serving the Supreme Lord, Lord Vishnu. And this is what we get to understand more in depth, that the service of the attitude of service is so important. Without this attitude of service, a person will not be able to build that gratitude and other qualities. As an established, and as Prabhupada says in the poet, that an established person or a responsible man in any establishment is always alert to keep peace and harmony within the establishment. So, and the quality of such a responsible man is being presented by Lord Brahma, who's always serving Vishnu, who's always meditating on Lord Vishnu, on the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. And because of that, he's able to establish that peace. So his level of service to the Lord, his level of, which is what bhakti is, or devotional service is, as in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 19.170 says, that sarvapati vinirmuktam tat paratvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchyate. Translation: Bhakti or devotional service means engaging all our senses in the service of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Master of all senses. When the spirit soul renders service unto the Supreme, there are two side effects. One, free from all material resignation, and one, senses are purified, simplified, being employed in the service of the Lord. So, Lord Brahma here is trying to serve the Lord and his devotees. And as a result, without any tinge of anything in return, but as a result, the peace and prosperity is happening. When the reason why in today's world all living entities are agitated or in an agitated state because of their six senses, mind and the five enjoying senses. Because Lord Brahma here is engaging in only to serve the Lord. Similarly, if all living entities, or at least human beings, if they engage these senses in the service of the Lord, in by performing devotional service, then they will be able to achieve the same peace and tranquility that Lord Brahma is able to attain and maintain at the same time. But for that, one needs to be, as we just read, one needs to be free from the designation of I am the controller. All these personalities that we talked about, Hiranyakashipu, Indra, they were in some state, they were thinking that they are the controller. And by being in that delusion, they were only satisfying their own senses rather than serving the Supreme Lord. So if we are not the controller, then what are we? And which is where Lord Brahma teaches us a very um, in a very logical way that with his attitude of service, we are servants. We are servants, and we are supposed to serve our higher authority. In life, when we go to work, we are serving our boss. When we are in a family life, we are serving our family. Even when we come to the body level, we are serving our stomach, our senses. So we are always serving. From birth to death, we are always serving someone. But still, we are not able to achieve that peace and prosperity because we are trying to serve something that is temporary. It's not permanent. Whereas if we serve something that is permanent, then we will be able to maintain that happiness, that level of gratitude that is built. And as Claude explains that for which the different ashramas have been established. These ashramas are there so that we can understand our responsibilities and serve a supreme authority to attain that same peace. In Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 13.80, the translation in the purport, it says, I'm not a Brahmana, I'm not a Kshatriya, I'm not a Vaishnava or a Sudra, nor I am a Brahmana or a householder, a Vanaprastha or sannyasi. I identify myself only as the servant of the servant of the servant of the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna, the maintainer of the gopis. So Mahaprabhu is saying this, that even when he was even Lord Krishna himself, Mahaprabhu, even by being within these ashrams, he maintained his service, attitude of service towards Lord Krishna. And because of what we learn from this is that even when we are in these ashramas, we can still maintain the level of the attitude of a servant. And in the last line, Mahaprabhu says that Gopi Bhartu Pada Kamalayor Dasa Anudasa Anudasa. So I identify myself only as a servant of the servant of the servant of the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna, the maintainer of the gopis. Now, by having this mood, by knowing that yes, I have someone on top above me who is protecting me, then I will not be disturbed by the calamity in this world. But as long as it's a bona fide leader that we are following, we will not be disturbed. So from this text, this is what we are learning, that we are understanding that even the Pachetas, where even Lord Brahma was able to pacify the Pachetas because of the mercy of the Lord Himself and His service. So with this mood of service and gratitude, as in and with the logical with the logical way of logical way of explain using the four mechanism, one can maintain the peace and harmony as long as the mood of service is maintained. Prabhupada has given us all the necessary information in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam to understand this mood of service with translations, so that we can see or we can realize that with through bhakti, through devotional service, one can practice, one can build, one can engage themselves to build this mood of service within themselves and be able to achieve that level of peace and prosperity within this material world, as explained, as mentioned as Dukhalama Shashvatam. It's a place of misery, but still one can achieve that same level of peace and prosperity. But that should not be the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to is to engage in the service of pure devotees, so that we can see we can see the Lord, just like the Prachetas were able to achieve the darshan of Lord Vishnu with the eye of devotion, with the eye of devotion tinged with the salve of love. Prevanjana Churite Bhakti Vilochan. Thank you so much. I'll end the chapter here. Hare Krishna. If there's any question or comments.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
So to bring out the logical explanation of this text, how the role of a leader help us to understand, and a good leader can protect the peace and prosperity of the whole world or the whole society. So here we can see how Lord Brahma immediately came down to pacify the agitated prachetas who were really burnt out of the whole trees because of they were so purified, so furious. So this says that how the leader takes the place of a real a meditator to make the situation in a peaceful and harmonious way. And you have given the examples how every time where there is some calamity or something going against the mankind, and Lord Brahma immediately comes down and try to pacify, or works as a mediator, or as a very good leader to settle the issues between. We can see the examples of Hiranyakashipu and all those, how every time Lord Brahma comes and takes the place of a mediator. So he uses his logic in four different ways, as you mentioned, Shama, Veda, Dana, Danda. So it depends according to the situation arises. So accordingly, the four level of logic is used to maintain the situation in a harmonial way. So we can see different examples in the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, how Lord has, sorry, Lord represented is Brahma, come every time and use this logic to settle the issues between. So the characteristics of a good leader shows here very nicely, and we can see everything is possible by understanding the logic given by superior authority. But then only things can be settled unless we follow the leaders correctly. And for that reason, as we studied, only the way to become satisfied and understand the logic in the right mood, when you understand the superior and become a servant of them, that is by service only. So as we see that we are the servant of servant of servant of servant, that means we are making the our layers of safety, just like a bunker. In a bunker there is a level, different level of safety. So by taking the attitude of servant, we are actually making layers of safety for our own self. So as long as we become the servant of servant, number of stages, we are actually saving ourselves. So with this, we can understand the more we follow the attitude of a servitude or a servant, we are more safe. That's why everything is safe on only when we follow our superiors. The moment we try to understand, overturn the attitude of servitude, then the problem arises. And Prabhupada gives example on and on to make us understand. Don't try to be a lord, try to be a servant, and that will save you from all calamities in your life. And that is what the message carries on for this text. Thank you so much for explaining so
Thank you so
nicely.
much, Prabhu.
With
So
good
nicely,
example.
so nicely putting it together.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna. If there is no further questions. If there's no question, then
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for giving this, unpacking this verse so many different ways. I think to the credit of the Prachitas is that they were willing to accept the authority. Sometimes authority comes, management, and everybody has different views. But here we see the Prachitas were obedient to the instruction of Lord Brahma. Yeah, authority is one thing, but also it also depends on the person if they want to accept the authority. If somebody doesn't accept the authority, then everything goes haywire. So I think we should give full credit to the Prachitas. After doing the years tapasya, this calamity arose and Lord Brahma came and they were willing to accept his decision. So one very important point. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Also, you can see that the the word in Bhagavad Gita also Prabhupada also mentions about bona fide. The instruction that the leader, if providing, is bona fide, which means coming all the way down from the civil succession, and then the truth or the authenticity or the integrity of the instruction is maintained, and then it's very easy for the follower to actually follow those instructions too. And in ISKCON, I mean, Prabhupada has given us everything that we need. It's all simply explained. There's nowhere else that we need to go. And I mean, for devotees, everything, also for us to understand um, that we are the servant of the spiritual master, who's again a direct representative of Lord Krishna himself. Um, we all have one thing common in all of our names that sometimes people may not focus is that we are Das. The Das, like a surname, Das is common in all of our names. So that's what we need to more focus on than our in the other aspects. Yeah. But thank you, Prabhu. Okay. It is no
Yeah,
further
Prabhu,
comments or
it doesn't
questions.
any further comments, so we'll end the class here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Vancha,
much, Prabhu. Vancha
Sarvakariyaksha
kalpataripascha,
Pita
kripa
Sindhuvaye
sindhuveva
Patitanam
pavanebhyo
Pavanebhyo
vaishnavibhyo
Namo
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 namaha.
Anantakoti Vishnavrinda ki jai.
Jai Shri Prabhupada. Shri
Krishna
Prabhupada ki
Jai
jai.
Shri
Swami Prabhu ki
Prabhupada
jai. Ila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari
Hari
Bol.
Hari.
All glories to the